My name's James Scott and I'm the Director of Artistic Development for Perform Australia, and I today am talking to you about our next musical that we're doing with our children's musical theatre program, which is Annie Junior. First of all, let me talk to you a little bit about the junior musicals. In the late 1990s, the great musical theatre composer and writer Stephen Sondheim, concerned that young people were not engaging in musical theatre as much as one would like, proposed an idea that they create shortened versions of the big Broadway and West End shows for young people to be involved in and to perform in. And they created Into the Woods Junior, and then after that a variety of others. And so these junior versions of the show, about 1.25 hours, they're compressed versions of the full show, so they've taken some of the scenes out, shortened some of them, removed a few less important characters and reduced the length of the songs. And it really gives young people an opportunity to engage with the full show without having the ardour of producing a 3.5 hour musical, and to be fair, means that the parents can still see their kids without having to watch through 3.5 hours, which would take months and months, possibly a year for kids of the primary and high school age too. So we're doing Annie Junior in September. We're starting rehearsals at the beginning of term 2, and so I want to tell you a little bit about how that works. What happens is we're going to be rehearsing on Saturdays, and for the first few weeks we have the get to know the cast and get to know the show session. So in those first 3 weeks we get to meet everybody and get to go through what the show is about, and we have, I suppose, what would be called auditions or tryouts for the various roles. So the kids will learn a couple of the songs, we'll get to see them sing and dance and act, and then decide which of the kids in the cast are going to be playing what roles in the show. So everybody who becomes part of the show is in the show. You don't have to audition to get in, but once we've got our team, we then spend a bit of time working out how we're going to allocate those roles. Traditionally, the roles are divided into 2 categories. You have the leads, the principal characters in the story, and then you have the ensemble, who are the minor characters and those who appear in the chorus. And what we've found is that even if kids often come in wanting to get the leads, obviously there's going to be lots of people, for example, who want to play Annie, the title role of the show, and only one person per cast that can do that. But what we found is that the ensemble parts are just as big, just as demanding, and require just as much work as those playing the lead. So everybody who's in the show still gets a really full experience of being part of the whole production. I've been asked a number of times, does being in previous shows mean you're more likely to get a lead role in the current show? Well, in some ways it does, and in some ways it doesn't. It doesn't guarantee you a role. We can't guarantee anybody's going to get a role, and just because you've been here for longer doesn't mean you'll necessarily move up the ranks, because it also just means, if you have been in previous shows, it means you may have hopefully developed skills and are better as a result of that and more likely to get a lead role in. What we do is we have 2 casts. We have a cast that rehearses on Saturday morning from 9:30 to 12:30, and then we have another cast that comes in and rehearses from 1 till 4. So as you're thinking about being part of the show, you'll need to decide whether you want to be in the Saturday morning or the Saturday afternoon cast. And you can't really swap between them, because obviously choreography may differ depending on who's in different groups and so forth. We have 2 casts, and then each cast will perform twice over the performance weekend. So there'll be 4 performances in total, 2 from each cast, and one on the Saturday, the 21st of September, and one on the Sunday, the 22nd of September. So they will be the performances. So the Saturday morning cast will come and they will work up the show, and then they'll go home. Then the Saturday afternoon cast will come in and they will rehearse. Now, one of the good things about having 2 casts is it means that if somebody is sick, then we've already got an understudy who knows the role. Hopefully nobody gets sick, but it has from time to time been helpful that when we've got to the performance weekend, if somebody has had something occur to them, which means they can't participate in the show, it hasn't let the rest of the show down, we've been able to pull in the same character from the other cast to be part of that. Over the 3 hours of rehearsal on the Saturday, we're looking at singing, dancing and acting training, as well as rehearsal for the show. So we're not just expecting the kids already to be able to sing, dance and act. We're a training school, so we're going to be giving them those skills. Different kids are coming in at different levels. Some may have done a lot before, or may have done a lot of dance classes or so forth. And what we try to do is to provide opportunities for every child to meet the skill that they're at. So if you have somebody who's really into dancing, has done a lot of dance classes, then part of the show will be a dance troupe, and we'll try and feature those dancers as part of that Those that love singing but aren't really that keen on dancing, they'll probably still have to do some dancing, but we will try and make that as meeting what they're interested in as part of the show as possible. So the rehearsal would look like they come in, we do a bit of a warm-up, some get to know you games, so we're really big on developing an ensemble and a feel amongst the cast, and then we start rehearsing the scenes, learning the songs, learning the dances and so forth. And then as we get through the rehearsal process, particularly into the second half of the rehearsal process, we're putting big bits of the show together until the final week when we have a dress rehearsal in the theatre, and then the performances that we encourage family and friends to come and see. As part of the show, each student gets a script which has all the words and the songs in it. If they bring a USB device, then we can give them copies of the music for them to listen to and to practice at home with. And they get a team t-shirt and everything else that's required to be part of the show. We don't expect parents to be making costumes or building set. We have a team here that does that. If there are particular ways that parents would like to contribute to the show, if they've got a great interest in costumes or set, we'd love to hear from you. But we provide all that. We recognise that parents are very busy, don't have time to necessarily do all these other things. So we make sure that's all provided as part of the complete package of the program. So if being part of the show, Annie Junior, is something that you're excited about or that your child is excited about, I just want to tell you a little bit about the expectations that we have. So we are expecting the students that are involved to be interested in singing, dancing and acting. And even if they're not interested in dance, they're still going to have to be expected to do a little bit. But certainly singing, we want people who are not afraid to sing, who enjoy singing. If singing is not something that your child is interested in, then being part of our other drama classes or non-musical theatre is probably going to be a better option for them. We need students to be able to commit to come to all or nearly all of the classes because it's very disruptive and difficult to choreograph a number or teach a song if many kids aren't there or rehearse a scene. It makes it very difficult, and we spend a lot of time re-going over the ground. Although we have about 17 rehearsals, we're producing a show that's over an hour long, so it actually doesn't turn out to be that much time. It seems like a lot, but really it isn't, and so we need to be as economical as possible with our rehearsal time. So people being away just makes that more and more difficult. From the parents' point of view, our expectation is that parents drop their kids off in time for the rehearsals and pick them up soon afterwards. Kids are going to require some dance shoes, some jazz shoes, and there's information about that in the little information pack that you can download from the Perform Australia website. They bring a snack for the break that we have in the middle of the rehearsal period, a drink bottle with some water in it, and they bring their scripts each week and a pencil so that they can write down any notes so that they can go home and practice. The other expectation that we would have is that parents support their kids in learning their lines. It's a really difficult thing to do, especially when you're young, when you're at primary school or early high school. You're given a script and told to come back having memorised that. Not all kids are going to have either the motivation or the skill to be able to do that by themselves, and so we do ask the parents both encourage their kids to spend some time doing that, but maybe spend some time with them going over lines, helping them practice so that they can come to the rehearsals ready to work with us. The other area of support that we really value from parents is in the casting. Obviously in that first few weeks when we're trying to decide who's going to play what role, there's a lot of people who are disappointed and sometimes even think it's a bit unfair that the way we've cast it. We try really hard to be fair and to cast the right people in the right roles, and we look at a whole range of factors. And so we do ask that parents support those casting decisions. So part of the agreement for being part of the show is that you'll support us in those. We're happy to talk about why we've made the decisions that we've made and what a child can do to ensure that they get a better part or a bigger part or a part that they really want next time we do it. But that's always in the context of that we support what we have decided. We're all about kids getting better so that next time they do a show they might be more successful in getting the part that they want. So that's the process. We rehearse for the 17 weeks, we do the show, and the other thing that we would like parents to do and kids to do is to bring lots of people to see the show. We have a 145 seat theatre and we do 2 shows, so we're looking at, 290 seats that we would like to fill to see the show. So that requires getting grandparents and school friends and other people along to see that. It's a really great feeling when the kids do the show and there's a full audience It gives them an experience that they'll remember for the rest of their life, and it gives great benefit to their confidence and a whole lot of other things in their development as they grow up. So if that excites you and this is something that you feel you'd like to do, then download the information booklet from the website as well, and then you can either enrol online or call the Perform Australia office and get your registration in, ready to start at the beginning of Term 2. Hopefully, I'll see you at our first rehearsal. Thanks very much for watching.